If you feel like your engine needs a major tune-up because you're running low on horsepower, you might need to check in with our next guest. He's an expert in the medical mechanics of the body, particularly hormones. Here to show us how to rev our engines back up again, please welcome Dr. Stephen Hotze with the Hotze Health and Wellness Center, along with patient Amy McGowan. All right. By the way, let me say congratulations. Recently named one of Houston's top 5 companies and also one of the top workplaces of 2012. So congratulations. And part of that is because of your innovation in the area of hormone replacement therapy, which is a mystery to some people, and to other people is basic building blocks of the body, basically.
Exactly. At our center, at the Hotze Health and Wellness Center, our goal is to enable our guests to obtain and maintain health and wellness naturally. And we know as we age, our hormone levels inevitably decline. Real simple, it's like gas in a tank. When it goes down, you fill it up. So when the hormone levels go down, you want to replenish those, whether they're your thyroid hormones, sex hormones, or adrenal hormones, and you want to put back the same identical hormones in the body that God had you make to begin with.
Yeah, because the problem is a lot of people will go, they'll use the synthetic hormones for whatever reason, and or they will treat symptoms.
That's what often happens. As our hormone levels decline, there's a host of health problems that occur, health symptoms. The fatigue, the inability to focus and think clearly, difficulty with weight, insomnia, joint and muscle aches and pains, constipation, loss of romantic moods and inclinations, recurrent and chronic infections, a host of symptoms.
Your life falls apart, basically.
Your life falls apart.
And Amy, you're nodding your head because what was life for you like before, and what you started noticing?
After I had my second child, I was exhausted. I would wake up in the morning and I would think, how long until I can take a nap? And if I couldn't take a nap, you better get out of my way because that's probably going to claw your eyeballs out. So I was grouchy, I was exhausted, and I could not lose weight.
Yeah, in the early times, people always say, they go, well, it's because you just had a baby, your body's just getting used to it, and the whole bit. And we all certainly know with a newborn, you are exhausted. But then after a few months go by and the baby's sleeping through the night, you're going, okay, what's wrong here? And even though you're exhausted, when it's time to go to sleep, you couldn't really sleep through the night. You know, so you're wondering what's wrong. Did you go to several doctors asking what's the problem?
I went to the doctors, they checked my thyroid, and they said everything looks fine. And really the reason that you're not losing weight is you just need to eat less and you need to eat healthier and exercise more. And I went home and I told my husband, and I was bawling because they also had told me that I was obese. And he said, how are you gonna eat less? You eat like a bird. I see what you eat super healthy, and you're doing the total conditioning classes at, you know, the gym, and you're running, so I don't know what else you could do. So I felt really hopeless.
Yeah, and Dr. Hotze, a lot of us are told, that I was told, I said this a million times, but I still can't get this out of my mind, you're old and you had a baby. And I'm like, how do we fix the problem, though? And you're right, you're doing all that stuff, and no one believes you when you say, no, I'm eating right, and I'm doing this, it's not working. Your body is fighting because it does not have that thyroid. So let's talk about what thyroid can address and the reason why she was feeling this way.
Well,
especially after having a baby.
What happens after a woman has a baby? The ovaries have to click back on. The hormones have been made by the baby's placenta. Now they got to come back on, and oftentimes after pregnancy, the metabolism doesn't crank back up because the hormones don't get produced in the proper amount. And women can get autoimmune thyroiditis, antibodies to the thyroid gland, or they just have a decline in their female hormones, which adversely affect their ability to utilize thyroid hormone, which governs your body's energy production. So energy level goes down, they don't feel well, they go to the doctor says your blood tests are normal, and they end up putting them on a slew of drugs, antidepressants, sleep medications, anti-anxiety medications, anti-inflammatory, stomach medications.
Again, addressing symptoms.
Always palliating or just masking symptoms and not addressing the underlying problem, which is the decline in the thyroid. Not so much in the blood, but within the cells, because when there's a hormone imbalance, it affects the body's ability to pick up and utilize within the cells the thyroid hormone. So you have to replenish that, and you have to replenish, and that's what we did with Amy when she came in.
I had the same problem she had in the terms of, because I thought it's got to be thyroid because it was matching all the symptoms.
You two had very similar problem. Right after you had your baby, that's what happened.
And then when they took the blood test, they did say I was within the range. And the point that you always say is, whose range was that? You know,
here's the deal. The range is the normal range by the lab incorporates 95% of the people. Wherever 95% of the people fall, that's considered normal. So you can have it very high or very low and still be normal. But is that optimal for you?
Yeah, and as a doctor, if you listen to the symptoms, it's the symptoms that are telling you what the problem is.
That tells you what's going on in the cells. So you have 3 things to look at. You have the clinical history, You have the clinical symptoms, you have the clinical signs, and then you have the body temperature. So check your body temperature. It should be 98.6. If it's running low, 97 or 96, that tells you you're not producing enough energy in your body.
Yeah, all right. So after you started taking the T3, T4, the thyroid, what did you notice as a change?
I was a completely different person. I had energy. I could go the whole day and actually remember things. I didn't have the brain fog. I lost 40 pounds in 3 months, and I felt like I had my life back.
Yeah. And that truly is what it is. You feel like you had your life back. We're talking about thyroid right here, but Dr. Hotze, you address all kinds of hormones, testosterone, progesterone, estrogen. And the bottom line is, if you just don't feel right, and if you look at some key indicators like, are you, late 30s, early 40s and on?
This is what we see it oftentimes after childbirth, and by the time a woman hits her mid-30s or early 40s, the hormones get imbalanced. And she knows that month to month. A woman feels that. She feels the change in her cycles and what's happening premenstrually.
Yeah, and also with men, too. There's other hormones that they deal with as well.
But remember, men don't have to balance every month, so men just have this gradual decline that they're not as in tune with as a woman. A woman every month knows how she compares with the previous month. She's got her finger or pulse on her health real well.
All right. Well, Dr. Hotze brought copies of his book, Hormones, Health, and Happiness, for everyone in our studio audience. It explains all of this very well. We also host a radio show, Health and Wellness Solutions. You can catch it every day, Monday through Thursday, from noon to 1 p.m. on 700 AM KSEV. And to make an appointment with the Hotze Health and Wellness Center, call 281-698-8698, 281-698-8698, or log on to hotzehwc.com. And since you're voted one of the best places to work, you'll probably get people saying, y'all got any jobs up there? All right. Thanks again. Have a little belly pooch. You just want to